This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
I'm not used to this kind of cold.
Times like this demand an unshakable moral code.
We must use our power of our vote to send them a message that it's not acceptable.
We have never forgotten those heroes.
This is a time of very expensive energy supply costs.
My dad and I have been watching football for a very long time.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. You'll wake up tomorrow to the coldest air since 2023. So says the National Weather Service, minus 35 with the wind. Meteorologist Rob Marciano.
The winds are going to be the issue, especially tomorrow into Sunday morning. We'll see gusts 40, 50 miles an hour. Now it's like going to bring some wind chills as well. It's also going to maybe potentially take down some trees and power lines.
These upstate New Yorkers say they have tough skin, but this is crazy.
This is cold to us. I'm not used to this kind of cold, but we'll get through it.
And it's definitely cold outside.
We're not used to this cold weather, and neither are our pets.
Every county in New York and Pennsylvania is under some type of a warning. Most an extreme cold warning. Frostbite can be possible tomorrow in under 15 minutes if your skin is exposed. Kevin Williams says stay warm and stay safe. His forecast coming up in a few minutes. The Democratic State Convention is well underway in Syracuse today. It has not been held there for 44 years. They'll vote to endorse candidates for comptroller, attorney general, and governor. Kathy Hochul is there. She was endorsed by New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani today. Also there, Hochul's lieutenant governor, Antonio Delgado, who's running for his boss's job.
Nobody's owed power just because they happen to have it.
Delgado says he's running on a ticket of integrity.
Double down on our values and our principles as Democrats and show the way. That openness, that transparency, that accountability, that debate, that dialogue, these things matter.
Kathy Hochul just stepped off the stage with a similar message.
Times like this demand decisive leadership, an unshakable moral code, and a fierce determination to protect the people of our state and our country.
But some are taking issue with her words. Christina Fagan is with the New York Alliance Against Assisted Suicide. Hochul is due to sign the Medical Aid in Dying Act before midnight tonight. Fagan says if you don't align with Hochul's unshakable moral code, vote this November.
We as Christians this fall, when we go to vote, we need to remember and be aware of who voted for this in Albany. A lot of people stood against it, thankfully, courageously, but we need to know who voted for it and in no ways accept that. We must use our power of our vote to send them a message that it's not acceptable.
The Medical Aid in Dying Act gives the green light for doctors to prescribe drugs that end a terminally ill patient's life. The U.S. has just arrested a key participant in the deadly Benghazi, Libya attack. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced Zubair al-Bakush was brought to a Joint Base Andrews early this morning.
He'll face charges related to murder, terrorism, arson, among others.
That attack killed U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens and 3 other Americans in 2012.
We have never forgotten those heroes, and we have never stopped seeking justice for that crime against our nation.
The mastermind of Benghazi has been in prison for more than a decade. In Arizona, still no movement in the search for Nancy Guthrie, the missing 84-year-old mom of Savannah Guthrie. CBS's Andre Gutierrez says that there's now more than one ransom note out there.
At this point, there are 3 alleged ransom notes out there. 2 of them were received by television stations here in Tucson, another one by TMZ, and they are still working to verify this.
Lots of notes, no Nancy. We have a date. Accused United Healthcare CEO Luigi Mangione's trial will start on June 8th. He's pled not guilty to murder, weapons, and forgery charges. Fox News.
Mangione's lawyers objected to the June date, telling the judge that at that time they'll be consumed with preparing for Mangione's federal trial, which is set to start on September 8th. The judge's answer, quote, "Be ready."
Mangione was arrested in a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. U.S. stocks just had their best day since last May. And it was a first for the Dow. It closed up over 1,200 points and just over the 50,000 mark, a milestone it has never hit before. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
This comes after days of selling in the technology sector spread to the broader stock market. Of course, 50,000 is just a round number. So does it have any major significance? Well, I think emotionally it does make people feel good, especially after seeing some of the big sell-offs over the last few weeks.
The U.S. just wrapped up a meeting with Iran in Oman today. Iran's foreign minister called it a good start.
I think our negotiation with the U.S. delegation was done in a good atmosphere. We were able to exchange our viewpoints, to express our concerns and our interests for a possible deal between the two sides on our nuclear question.
We've got warships sitting off the coast of Iran right now. The 2026 Winter Olympics are officially underway. The ceremony started at 2 p.m. Eastern Time today in Europe. And there was a huge win for pro-lifers in an Arizona courtroom today. CBS's Jim Krasula.
A state judge in Arizona has permanently blocked several abortion restrictions, ruling they violate the state's constitutional amendment protecting the right to an abortion. The new restrictions include requiring patients to make 2 separate trips to their healthcare provider and having to wait at least 24 hours before getting care. They also included a ban on the use of telemedicine for an abortion.
Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, a fly on the wall in the Pennsylvania budget. Buffalo still in the thick of water main breaks with a huge temperature drop 12 hours away, and NYSEG bills are up 44%. Those stories after a look at the forecast.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast for tonight. Cloudy, blustery, turning much colder, snow at times, along with a heavier squall. Snow accumulations from a dusting to an inch or 2 in central and eastern Pennsylvania to 2, 3, or 4 inches elsewhere around the region. Temperatures tumbling towards 0. Brutally cold for tomorrow. Flurries, lake snow, blowing snow. A couple 3 more inches south of Lake Ontario. Temperatures in the afternoon, not much above 0. Wind chills between minus 15 and minus 30.
A little too cold for us. Thank you, Kevin. Checking the stories where you live in New York and Pennsylvania. Governor Josh Shapiro laid out his budget on Tuesday. Now the task is to pass it, preferably not 135 days late like last year. Shapiro huddled with the leaders of all 4 chambers together this week. Senate Majority Leader Joe Pittman was in the room, and he spoke with ABC 27.
It was a pleasant conversation. I would characterize it as just a level set, not looking to get into any great details, because I do think as much as we want to get a product done on time, it is hard to project out where we are in early February versus where we will be in mid-June.
No voting happening for a while. Lawmakers will be gone until mid-March. We're learning more about the extent of damage from a large water main break that inundated a Buffalo, New York neighborhood. Family Life's Mark Webster.
Yeah, 15 to 20 million gallons of water. That's the estimate from city officials on how much water gushed from a ruptured main that flooded a North Buffalo neighborhood, damaging roads, vehicles, and buildings, and forcing firefighters to rescue many who were trapped by the instant lake. The flood covered an area of several blocks. The water main break, the latest in a series of issues relating to Buffalo's century-old underground infrastructure. Mark Webster, Family Life News.
Lehigh Valley Hospital in Dixon City, Pennsylvania remains closed today after a massive fire Wednesday night. Cleanup is underway after the blaze tore a hole through the roof of the building. Peggy Howley witnessed the fire.
I just couldn't believe what I saw. It was just devastating, absolutely devastating. See the fire coming through the roof, and scary.
Hospital staff were able to safely evacuate close to 80 patients. The cause of that fire remains under investigation. Concerned NYSEG customers got to air their grievances over sky-high energy bills at a public forum Thursday afternoon in Johnson City, New York. NYSEG President Patricia Nilsson.
We want them to tell us their story, let us see what we can do to help, but also customers need to realize that this is a time of very expensive energy supply costs, very challenging system maintenance that has to be done, and it is difficult, and we're here to help when we can.
NYSEG says energy bills have increased an average of 44% from last year. The utility provider recommends you turn down your thermostat and take shorter showers to help lower the cost of your energy bill during the winter months. Next at 5, it is Friday, and that means a deep dive with our men in the know at the state capitol hospitals in Albany and Harrisburg. Jason McGuire with New York Families and Michael Gear with PA Family. It's Capital Connection. We start with Josh Shapiro's budget speech. Let's listen in.
What's in there that you like? What's in there that you don't like? And how realistic is it to assume that they'll get an on-time budget this year?
Well, the speech itself was more of a campaign speech, but when looking in the details of the budget, it's more of the priorities that the governor's had previously, which is more spending. So we have fights ahead of us. But it was clear in his speech, he's running for more than governor, I think.
Yeah. Last week, Jason, we were wondering when she'll sign it, and she has signed it. Governor Hochul now signing what she calls the Medical Aid in Dying Act, and that law will take effect in 6 months in New York, allowing physician-assisted suicide. Jason, what's going to happen in those 6 months as we get ready for this new law?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a terrible day for New York that we're now crossing that bridge and we've entered the era of state-sanctioned suicide here in the Empire State. In the next 6 months, the Department of Health will be drawing up regulations regarding how this will work and how you'll get the deadly drugs to take one's own life. And I can tell you that they've already been working hand in glove with the advocates, the pro-suicide position. Compassionate Choices have been all over this, working with the Department of Health to get what they want in those regulations.
We've been told there will be no coercion of doctors that morally object to this. Do you think that will be the case?
Well, as often happens with these kinds of controversial pieces of legislation where religious liberty may be involved, is they begin by putting in those protections, but then almost immediately there are those that come out to try to strip away those protections in the legislative sessions to come. And even the public comments already made by the activists for assisted suicide, they're indicating they'll be back for more, that those safeguards will not stand.
All right, we'll see in 6 months. It becomes law in New York. There's no putting that genie back in the bottle either.
You can subscribe, listen to, and share Capital Connection and all of Family Life's original podcasts at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or at familylife.org.
Jesus prayed in John 17:21 that his followers would be one, just as he and the Father are one. Hi, I'm Rob West with today's Faith and Finance Minute. That same picture of unity shows up in marriage, especially in how we handle money. Financial oneness says, what's mine is yours. It's not about control or perfection. It's about shared trust, shared goals, and shared submission to Christ. Scripture tells us that in marriage, the two become one flesh, and money is one of the most tangible places that unity is either practiced or resisted. Paul reminds us in Ephesians 5 that marriage points beyond itself to Christ's oneness with his body. Love gives, trust is mutual, and Christ truly is Lord over everything. Manage your finances wisely with the easy-to-use FaithFi app. Download FaithFi, Faith and Finance from your app store, or learn more at faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, physical rehab and a Seahawks ticket. One guy's about to get Son of the Year. His story after weather.
Hi, I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Well, the Arctic Express will send our temperatures tumbling this weekend. The combination of low temperatures and wind will produce dangerous wind chills late tonight and Saturday to the extent that frostbite on exposed skin can occur in less than 30 minutes. Our call for tonight: cloudy, blustery, turning much colder, snow at times, along with a heavier squall. Snow accumulations from a dusting to an inch or two in central and eastern Pennsylvania to 2, 3, or 4 inches elsewhere around the region. Temperatures tumbling towards zero. Brutally cold for tomorrow. Flurries, lake snow, blowing snow. A couple, 3 more inches south of Lake Ontario. Temperatures in the afternoon, not much above zero. Wind chills between minus 15 and minus 30. Sunday, frigid lake snow south of Lake Ontario. Otherwise, sun clouds and flurries with high temperatures near 10.
Very dangerous outside tomorrow morning. Try to stay in, and if you can't, cover your skin. Finally, at 5, we're about 48 hours out from the next Super Bowl. One fan got to watch the last game, the NFC Championship that qualified the Seahawks, in person after his son got him surprise tickets. But it was a moment that just a few months ago would have seemed impossible. In October, Irvin Garcia's dad suffered a hemorrhagic stroke, a dangerous brain bleed that can be permanently disabling. A farm worker his whole life, he had no insurance to pay for the intense physical therapy he needed. That's when Irvin, who's attending medical school at UCLA, jumped into action, learning physical therapy to lead his dad's rehabilitation for free.
I was with him and doing a lot of exercises and doing a lot of therapy. And
3 months after fearing his dad would never walk again, they stepped inside Lumen Field together.
My dad and I have been watching football for a very long time. It's something that we kind of bonded over. A lot of the time we spent together was working, and football was one of the things that we did together outside of work.
Irvin says seeing the playoffs in person was a lifelong dream.
It brought me a lot of joy to see him that happy, especially because I feel like my parents have made a lot of sacrifices.
He told NBC he hopes his story helps others spend more time with their parents. And that's the world that we live in for Friday, the 6th of February. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.